I promise to give you a tutorial on how to use Wallet, an app that can help you track your expenses so that you can budget better. You know where your money is going and where you're receiving your money from. What we are going to do is go to App Store. If you're using an Android phone, you go to Google Store and then just click in Wallet. It will take you to the different options of Wallet. You use this one, which has green and a white label or icon of Wallet in the middle. And when you download it and open it, it will take you to this page. Now, I'm going to skip this show because I've already used it and I know how to use it. So skip, and then it will take you or prompt you to a page where you can sign in or sign up. Now, I'm going to sign in with Google because I already have an account. If you do not have, please do the same. Sign up with Google or any other option that is applicable for you. Let's continue, and the moment you continue, it will prompt you to the dashboard. Now the dashboard looks like this. Now the first thing we are going to look at is how to add an account. Now I have 3 accounts: Standard Chartered, Equity, and a cash account. This is dependent on where you usually keep your money. Do you keep some money somewhere in mobile money, in cash, or in an account? You just name it. These are usually not there. I think it's only cash that is there and you can customize. But if you are not using a pro app, so you've not paid for it, you are only limited to 3 accounts. So I cannot help you on how to add an account. Otherwise, they will tell me I should pay. For that reason, painfully, I'm first going to delete one of these accounts. Let me delete the Equity one so that I can show you a process of adding it. The first option we've said, we are going to scroll here and say add account. But you may add it from the dashboard, or you can just go to settings, accounts, add account manually, and name this new account. My account, just rename it to Equity Bank. Done. How much money do you have there? Go check your balance on Equity or whatever account you've added and maybe we put it back to 300,000. And later, if you want to adjust this balance, maybe you put something wrong, you can come still here and type it, or you want to change the initial balance. But in this case, actually we are doing initial balance. Change initial balance and then come choose in which currency is it. We have 3 options. We have USD, we have Kenya, we have Uganda shillings. I'll also show you how to add a currency, not now. And then choose, is it cash? I'll choose a current account because it's a bank account. I'll choose its color. It's usually reddish, something like that. And then I'll save. Now, when we go back to our dashboard, we shall see that we have 3 accounts. Second thing we are going to look at is how to add a record. Let's say, for instance, you've paid some money to DSTV today. You come here, down here, where you see a plus sign in a green icon, tap plus. Now, here you have an option. Is it an expense? Money going out. You can tap income, money coming in, or you can tap transfer, money coming from one account to another. For example, if you want to get money from your Standard Chartered and say 200,000, I am withdrawing it from Standard Chartered, for example, and it's going to my cash. So the moment you save that, when you come to the dashboard, the Standard Chartered balance has reduced, and yet the cash balance has increased. But it could also be a record of income that you have received 50,000 and it has gone to your Equity account. The category was income. We're going to learn also how to add categories and to customize them to what works for us. It could be a sale. Now for me here in a note, I can put sale of planner. Like I saw a planner book. Planner. And label. My labels are only for expenses. We are going to look at that shortly. And then I will say save. Now, when we come here, Equity Bank has been increased from 300 to 350. Let's add a record, which is an expense. Again, we shall go to the plus. We choose expense. We say 35,000. In this case, it is DSTV. We go to maybe life and entertainment. Look for where that option is there. There's TV and streaming. Choose TV and streaming. We come at date. The date could have been yesterday and I forgot to register it, so I choose that date. And then I come to label. Which label is it? For me, I would call it once. Today, I'm going to show you how to add these records. And when I am done, I will say save. That's about it, how to add records. But the question is, how do I customize all these things for me? Let's start with customizing this dashboard. Let's go to settings. First thing we are going to choose is dashboard. Let's start by removing all of these things. Remove, 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 remove. If you go to this dashboard, our dashboard will be this empty. See, it only has our accounts. But now we want to add some widgets. We can either come here and say add widget and choose a widget. It will confuse you. Just go to settings, dashboards, and add. I need a dashboard for balance. I need to be shown my cash flow, what's coming in, what's going out. I need to be shown my expenses. I need to be shown my top expenses. Maybe I also want to see my currency rates. When I go to the dashboard, you can also arrange them. You can choose that this one comes first or below, wherever you want. You just tap those three lines, long press and drag, right? Arrange accordingly. Let's go to the dashboard and see. Now, this is how the dashboard is. It shows me the cash flow. My expenses are 1.6. When it comes to my balance, total balance of these three accounts is 2.6. Expense categories, and they even give me a pie chart. All expenses is 1.6, but if I can tap one category, in shopping, I've put 1 million. In housing, I've put 500. In eating and groceries, I've put 900 and something. I've put life entertainment 85. And in this small category, this small one, in investments, I've only put 15,000. If I go to labels, I can also see that this bigger, it's in wants. I've spent more money in wants than I've spent in needs. But there's also a small coloring there. I've spent in savings and investments generally 15. So labels are just categories of expenses that we talked about, following the rule of 10% tithes, 50% of your income to needs, 20% to wants, and 20% to savings and investments. So you can look at your pie chart according to expenses or labels. And then here, this will show you what have you spent on most. So my biggest expenditures in a hierarchy of the expenditure is 1 million to electronics and accessories. Then I have water, then I have rent. I can look for details and they will still show them to me here. Now, the last widget we added was currency rates. It can show me that the USD rate to Uganda shillings is 3,600. I can choose what I want to add. But in the first place, how do we add currencies so that we can choose anytime what is our currency? Let's go to, again, settings. See here, option number 4, currency. I have Kenyan shillings, I have USD, I have Uganda shillings. So I can add pounds. I add British pound. They will show me that the British pound rate currently is 4,700. I say create. So it has been added on one of the currencies I have. The best currency that they're comparing it with is Uganda shillings, as you can see it. But if I want these rates to always be updated, I just have to toggle this button on. Currency rate, update. Second thing, how do we add labels so that we can know these expenses I need, a want, or something? We come again, still dashboard, we come to our settings, we scroll down, option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7th option has labels. So we can either add a label or remove a label or edit a label. Usually you'll find no label. So I advise that you add at least those 4 labels. We can even put our target. We can just call it, the label is called needs. And we said on needs, we spend, just as a reminder, 50%, and then save. And then savings and investments, edit the name. We put, let's make it shorter, save and invest. We said 20%. Done, save. And then we go to tithe. Maybe you want to increase this according to how much you give, but the baseline is 10%. So we do what? Save. Once is also, meanwhile, also your offerings and charity can be in once. 20 what? 20%. Done. So the next option is the most important one, customizing your categories. So again, if you're on your dashboard, you will just go to these settings, go to the options under labels, categories. Now look at the categories you have. Customize them, rename them according to what you want. It can be eating here and groceries, and you just come and call it foods and drinks. Maybe. And that's the general category. But under the general category, you see, it has been updated to foods and drinks. There are subcategories: restaurants and treats, dinner, break and lunch. You can separate this and just call it one thing, but you can also call it day meals. For example, let's edit the name. Day meals, save. Now, the option you have when you're still under this category, you come to day meals, and then under subcategory, you can add day meals and add a subcategory called breakfast and save, and a subcategory called lunch and save. Is it a want, a need, or a must? Maybe it's a must and save. Now it means when you're adding records, you have an option to choose whether it's just restaurant and treats. Is it dinner? Even under dinner, I added personal, professional, because I could take someone for a dinner, but I want to sell to them. So come and look through all this and see things that work for you and things that don't work for you. Maybe the last thing we can look at is incomes. Please also include the income category that works for you. Do you receive wages and invoices? Do you receive interest? Do you have sales? Do you have rental? Do you have DSA? Do you have allowances? I don't know what works for you. Just come, customize them, edit the names. You can also actually edit the icon. Here you edit the name. You edit whether it's a want or a need. We've already talked about it. And then you can customize an icon. If you click here, you can say edit color and it becomes red. Or you can edit icon and choose any of these icons that is applicable for you. So the second last thing I wanted to show you is how to activate notifications. Again, you're going to go to your settings, come third last option, click notifications, and then toggle on these things. Toggle them on. Budget, so that you're notified that your budget is being exceeded. Planned payments, so that you're notified that you had planned to pay someone on 22nd and today's 22nd. If you want their blogs, yes. What's in wallet? Yes. Now the question is, do you want it to come on your phone even before you open the app? Then make sure these push notifications are allowed, enabled. Push notifications up here, enabled. So the question is, how do we determine a budget? How do we know planned payments? Okay, let's go back to our dashboard. Below here where you see dashboard, the next thing is called planning, which is in blue now. When you click planning, there are options of budgets and planned payments. What is the difference? Planned payments, these are things that you know you need to pay and you know when to pay for them. It could be a debt, it could be some known expense, it could be recurring but for only a given period. Then budgets, this is when you set a given amount of money per category. So let's start with planned payments. If you click at my planned payments, let's say I have to pay a friend of mine called Akeza some money. I owe her 500,000, which means it would be an expense. But Akeza could also be owing me money, so I'll put it at income. I'll choose income. I expect it to be paid to me, but in this case, I'm going to pay, so I'll put it as an expense. To who? Payment name. Maybe I'll say Akeza loan. I said done. Account. When that day comes, that money will come from which account, or it will go in which account? In this case, I'll say I'll pay her through cash from my cash account. What is the category? I'll maybe go to my financial obligations and look for loans and interests. And how will I confirm that I've paid? Automatically or manually? I'll choose it manually that I've paid. What is the date I expect to pay Akeza, or I'm expected? Maybe 31st of March. Is it a repeat or it's a one-time payment? It could be that I owe her 1.5 million, but every month I'll be paying 500,000. So in that case, I will choose repeat, and I'll say one every 1 month, and I'll say when does this end? I can choose and never, I'll always pay, or until a particular date, or after particular events. I'm going to pay for 3 times. So 3 months and I'll be done. Then I will go back and maybe I put the label. The label is maybe saving and investments, maybe once. I don't know where you categorize your debts in. Usually, I categorize them in saving and investments because when I have debts, I don't really save. I may invest, but I don't save. And then here, they'll give me an option below. In-app notification. Do you want to be notified on the due date when you're supposed to pay? Or 3 days before when you're supposed to make this payment? When you toggle it on, it will give you that notification and then save. When that day comes, you will have a notification, as you can see, +1. +1 means, you see that Kawan? It means there's a payment that is due. And in this case, we can see 5th Opli due date. I'm supposed to pay Akeza on today, 5th March. But let's say we want to postpone it. We just say edit, postponed. Which date do you want to pay? Maybe we say 9th. Save. In that case, so how do you add a budget? Again, dashboard, planning, go to budgets, add, let's take for instance, we are going to add a category of restaurants and treats. So sometimes I want to treat myself, not me, some of you. And you say, but in a month, I can't treat myself beyond 500,000. Let's call it treats and outings. It's one of my budgets or your budgets. Period for a month. So you're budgeting for a month. You can also choose that you're budgeting for a full year. How much money you should not spend. It could be vacation and say I should not exceed 7 million. In this case, we are going to go to the monthly category. We shall come to foods and drinks and choose restaurants and treats. If it's just all foods, we can choose all subcategories under here. But in this case, it's only restaurants and treats. And we go back and we come at label. That is a want. And we tell them, notify us when I've so far saved 75%. I mean spent 75%. Save. Now, what is showing here, when we come to our budgets here, treats and outings, I've not gone to any treat and outings, so they show me the budget is 500,000. Should I make any expenditure? Let's put an expenditure at outing here. Let's add a record. Let's say today I've gone out, taken a friend of mine. I have spent 8,000 just to chill out at my friend's restaurant. And this money is maybe coming from cash and it's going to drinks, and I've chosen treats. And of course it's once and I have saved. If we go back to planning and budgets, they will show me of 500,000. You see, of 500,000, I've so far spent 80,000, remaining with 420. So this is what the progress bar helps you know. Now, the next thing we are going to look at are statistics. If you want an overview of what is happening, you just come stay on the dashboard. Below here, where you have dashboard planning, the plus sign, just click statistics, and then they will show you your statistics. That your balance currently is 2.5. Your spending, in 7 days, below here, you can see which period are you looking at? It could be 30 days, it could be 12 weeks. Your cash flow is in negatives. It means you are spending more than you're earning. Your income, as you can see here, your income is only 250 in the last 7 days, yet you've spent in the last 7 days 1.7. So your cash flow is 1.5 difference, but in the negatives. If the difference was in the positives, for example, if here you've earned 2 million and your spending is 1.7, cash flow, they would show you it is 250 somewhere there, but the bar of green will be longer than the bar of expenditure, in which case there would not be a negative. Those are details we shall be looking at. If you don't understand them in our sessions, you just ask and people will be sharing their own experiences. Briefly, that's about how to use the wallet. If you have any questions, ask.